my video shut out on my phone, but so I turned it back on. We've got mechanical brake lever, which is original for the brakes, is still in there. I can probably rig something up for the parking brake, and then run it along. I guess these are called trailing arms. I mean, I'm not used to cars these old, but it looks like there's a spot for your parking brake in those rear hubs on both sides. They've just been cut off, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to get a hold of some parking brakes and cables and rig up something, because I'd like to have a parking brake at least. But you can see it's mostly complete. We've got something odd here too. So I mean, this is a 35, so 80 years of service, and we have an 8BA, which is not the right motor for this. 8BA was made from 49 to 54 if you count Canada. Identifying this, the best I've done so far is I've found original like bronze paint on it, and so I think it's a late 49 motor, which is good. I mean, this is the 100 horsepower motor. It could have been better, and could have been a Mercury motor, which would have been nice, but it's not. But at least it's not the original 35 motor. I don't know if you can see it there. There's stamping on the back of the block. There's your shift linkage come down off the tree down to that. So that's the running gear, I suppose. I had to pull the steering column out. The insides of it, like there's like, I'm not sure what they used back then, but like a bearing packing. It was like felt or something like that, and there was nothing left of it, but it's draining there. But I found another steering column here. It's got the shaft in it. I got to figure out how to take apart the steering wheel from this column and pull it all apart. Make sure that everything is. I mean, I can use parts from either of these and then order some more bushings or bearings if I need to make a serviceable piece. This linkage had a lot of slop in it, and you can see like there's a lot of play. If I can, but you can see like inside here, like there's no bushing left in there. I don't know if that was rubber and it's just deteriorated, like in either one of them. It was really hard to get it out of gear because there was so much play in that linkage there. I'm gonna have to pull apart the motor, but the motor wasn't seized, which is surprising for being in storage for 30 years across from, I mean, you can't see it from here, but I got a steel plant right across the street, a steel mill. They kind of rain down nasty acid all over the place. Some stuff I pulled off. I've got some spare 35 headlights and brackets and all that kind of stuff. Really nice new old stock. I think that's a 40s ignition, which is really cool. Much cooler looking than what was on the column originally. Got some spare parts, like gas, brake, and clutch pedals, and that's the original radio that was in the truck. Back behind there, that's the original heater that was in the truck. Some wiring off of it. And there's the dash panels that I've pulled. Got some horns for it. Front bumper brackets, engine pan, shields or whatever you want to call those over there. You can kind of see that's the rear window molding, and then the windshield molding. I set up some service carts. I made a big mess tearing this apart last week, so I've picked up all the tools and cleaned off some carts and kind of set them up for tearing apart piece by piece the frame there. It's like a sandblast, and here I got a blast cabinet, so I can pull most of my parts in here, which is the way I'd prefer to do it. I've just refurbished that cabinet. I got new gloves in it and put all new seals around the doors and under this hood flap. Somebody pulling all the parts off and doing some blasting in that. Made the mistake of, well, it's January now, so it was maybe after New Year's. I decided that I was gonna blast the cab in here, so I set up. I taped a bunch of plastic sheeting around the ceiling here and tried to make a blast cabinet or blast room, and it just didn't seal off very well, and I clogged up like two furnace filters in a day. So I decided I'm not going to be blasting anymore in here. But what I did do is I took the cab off, moved it into this spot, so I can actually seal this room off from the rest of the building. It is currently like 10 degrees outside, so right now I'm not going to do it, but in the next couple days I think we're supposed to get some 40-degree weather, so I may open up this door, put some sheathing up, seal the room off, and then send a air hose out underneath the sheathing and do some blasting. Hopefully let some of that dust go outside instead of staying inside and getting recirculated through the building. Of course, I'm using respirators. But still. There's the bed. Pulled that off with my nice little cheap Chinese engine hoist over there. I've got pictures of that. I use this battery powered lift here to lift up the cab. I just picked it up off of this. I've got this sitting on some. I got that. There's those wheel dollies come in pairs. Got them at Harbor Freight on sale. I mean, they're not the greatest quality. It's kind of hard to push the cheap wheels, but it's still better than nothing. I mean, $100 for it's probably $90. I think after coupon got the 4 of them. So I used that to pick up the cab, and then had to push it back. So instead of pushing it back, I just used that, lifted up the cab, and then with the wheel dollies, I pushed the whole frame forward about a foot to clear the pedals. Because, I mean, I'm only working in, I'm about 6'4", and I can touch the ceiling So I mean, we're probably looking at 8 and some change as far as like ceiling height. So I couldn't lift it up that high, and plus that thing doesn't even lift that very high, and unfortunately forklift doesn't fit in here because the ceiling is too low. I mean, it's as far as like getting through the doors. So to-do list, I'm gonna block off that wall, run some more extension cords for some more lights so I can blast the rest of the cab. I need to wire up into the box if I can figure it out. Not really sure what model this is. I've got some cheaper welders, but this is my grandpa's welder. Prefer to use this because my welders, I've got a quote unquote Harbor Freight MIG welder that could be set up for gas, but it's going to be AC instead of DC, and I've got a Harbor Freight stick welder. Grandpa has that awesome welder there. He's got a cart spot welder. He's got this stick welder, which I can't find the wires for it, but I can probably fix that if it's gonna be better than my Harbor Freight crap. He's got this spot welder over here, which is pretty cool. I haven't tried it yet, but it's on a cart, but it's got like 2 prongs, and you can do spot welding with it. Hopefully, though, don't have 3-phase in here anymore, but hopefully I can make this guy work on regular electric. I just have to wire in something for it, so don't know what else. More parts. I guess we'll start here. Obviously this is a flathead V8 and 100 horsepower, which, well, even my Accord has quite a bit more horsepower than that, but my Prelude would have double that. So I can do a few little things to make it a little more peppy. It comes with a single carb. I've got just a whole dust filter